Good morning, everybody. I hope by now that you're starting to get the hang of the class and how everything seems to work and where stuff is. I know that I've mentioned to several of you in emails that if you take a look at the announcement page, if you take a look at the content page and the instructions that are there, there's always ample information about how to do things. I do realize that there may be some of you who are taking an online class for the first time, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to get used to. However, some of the real basic questions that you might have, once again, you can find those descriptions in the assignments themselves or in the announcements. And if you really have a problem technically in enabling yourself to be able to go through this, then please call the help desk. The telephone number for the college is 245-4271, and the extension for students is 4788. I know that a lot of times they have to call you back, and my experience is, from what students have told me, that they're really pretty good about calling you back. So please take the time to be able to do that if you really need help. The other thing that you can do is to ask your classmates who are in your group for help. There are many people who are very experienced with online classes in this class. And so you can ask them, and I'm sure that many of them would be very happy to give you a hand or help you out, or maybe even talk to you on the phone if needed, in order to guide you through a problem that you might have. If you are taking this class as your first online class, you are already finding that it is a little bit more difficult because we're doing speech online. And in order to meet all of the components of what is required by the state in these classes, you have to be able to master certain techniques. And one of them is this ecosystem that you're working on. If you haven't yet contacted your group, gotten into your team, and started conversing with the other people, you're really falling behind. You need to be able to do that because the full project is due in the middle of next week. And it takes time to watch the episodes and be able to do your part of writing that's required. And remember, there's 100 points for this assignment, so you really want to get to it. Now, what I wanted to talk with you about this morning and give you a chance to be able to get a feeling about is the layout of the supplementary text, which is called Adultery is Universal, but I'm Getting Married Anyway. It sounds like a funny title, but the truth of the matter is that infidelity is pretty rampant, and I know it's something that students worry about because it's been brought up in my classes many, many, many times, which was what spurred me to actually write the book. In talking about it, I had to go into depth talking about relationships in general, self-esteem, communication that takes place, as well as all different kinds of marriages and what's involved with marriage. Now, I know some of you are not married, some of you have been married, some of you are married right now. Some of you never want to get married. But whatever the case may be, all of this information applies to you, and it's really worthy of talking about. So I'm going to go through a little bit of an overview for you just to give you an idea of how the book is laid out and a little bit more about the particular assignment that you're going to have as your first assignment from this supplementary text. Once again, I will mention to you that you can find the book in the Rams bookstore. You can, if you can make it up to the Communications Center, there's a copy up there. There's also a copy in the library, but both of those are on reserve. So you would need to be able to stay there in order to be able to read the information and get it. There might be some competition. I do have another class, and there are other classes on campus, not in the communication department, that are using this text as well. So let's get going and talk about a couple of points that I think you might find kind of interesting. This is the book. This is what it looks, whoops, see, there we go. This is what it looks like, and unless you're buying electronically. If you're buying electronically, you can get it at Amazon, you can get it at Barnes & Noble, you can get it at through your iPad as well. In the book, and in this particular assignment that we have, what we're focusing on is marriage, and we're focusing on marriage as it has existed in ancient times, what we think of as traditional marriage, what was like in puritanical America, and also what marriage is like today. So I'll mention to you that in the very beginning of the book, there's a table of contents. You can tell that I'm really experienced at doing these things for the class. So you have a table of contents here, and all the different topics that are involved with each subject are laid out. And because it is set up that way, it's going to be fairly easy for you to actually do the assignment. So I will mention to you that in Chapter 1, there's a section called Puritanical Beginnings and a section called Traditional Marriage. Both of those will help you with this assignment. Then in Chapter 2, there's a section called Marriage and Affairs, and that will also give you a very good idea for the assignment. Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 you can probably move through at this particular point, unless you're just reading steadily right through the book. And then when you get into Chapters 6, where I cover ancient history, I cover the Middle Ages, and moving on to America in early times, and how attitudes changed, and customs changed, and culture changed. In Chapter 6, we talk about different strokes for different folks, and so we're dealing here with gays and lesbians, so you may want to take a look at that chapter, because that's a part of what's happening in our society today and the legalization of marriage. In Chapter 7, we talk a little bit more about the 70s, and Chapter 8 then goes into, Chapter 8 is more about communication and the structure of marriage, and then Chapter 9 deals with the status of marriage today. And again, going back to Chapter 7, I do talk about meetings that take place on the internet, marriage that occurs as a result of that, certainly relationships that take place. A lot of this information that I have in the book, of course, is researched, and you can find in the back of the book the references, the many, many, many different references, and some of those might be of particular interest to you. A lot of them are online. Additionally, there are some vignettes that run all the way through the book. The vignettes are strictly for the purpose of illustrating some points that you may find in the book, or holding the interest of the reader, informing the reader about different segments of society and how people operate and interact with one another. So you might find them interesting. They are not my personal stories. They're not anybody's personal stories. They're all fabricated. However, some of the information that comes from them was given to me by people who gave me consent to use them. I don't have any one story which is true all the way through, with the exception of 2 of the stories that are in here that were given to me by the people who lived those stories and who wanted me to use them in the book, and I felt that they were relevant. So, that said, I hope that you have a very good day today, or whenever you're listening to this, and that this information can be helpful to you. I am putting up the assignment this morning, so you'll be able to find that. It's part of Unit 2. That said, don't forget that you have to do your responses to the posts that you made yesterday for Unit 1, and that those are due by midnight tomorrow, Friday night. And then grading will probably take place, I don't want to promise that it will take place over the weekend, but it will take place within the next few days afterwards, and then the points that you receive will be posted online. I will put it in the announcement so you'll be able to check it and see how you're doing. Okay, take it easy. Really work on those echo systems. There are some people that are really far ahead already and are doing a great job, so hope you get involved with it. It's kind of a fun assignment, and it's 100 points, okay? All right, take it easy, and I will talk to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.